Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jade, and this is How to App on iOS. And today it is
Behind the Song with
Kim Hardin-Hudson, and we're looking at
Nothing Right. It's episode 8. We're going to take a look at Kim's project, how she made the song. It's a wicked song. If you haven't heard it, you'll hear it a lot today. So deal with it. Let's do it. We're going to kick off the show by checking it out. Nothing Right, Kim Hardin-Hudson.
Everything is faded and frayed. All the things you thought would never break. You won't die if you cry. If you don't, then you might. This isn't what I saw in a dream, so I internalized, but it was never about me. Imagine my surprise. I should have been the river, but I was a stone. All the water rushed around me. I never felt so alone. You see that I've grown. This isn't what I had in mind. I wrapped myself inside. I swear you did nothing wrong. I did nothing right. This isn't what I had in mind. Still I can try. I swear you did nothing wrong. I did nothing right.
Good morning and welcome to the show. Good evening, good afternoon, or wherever you are in the world. My name is Jade and this is How to App on iOS, and it is episode 8 of Behind the Song. I hope you're all doing well wherever you are. Buckle yourselves in because we're going to take a deep dive into how that song was made. I always find these songs extremely interesting because we all have our different processes, and don't believe the weirdos on YouTube who tell you there's only one way to do things, because there isn't. The only right way to do things is to do the way that works for you. Today's show is sponsored by DistroKid also, and we love DistroKid. What do we do here? We love DistroKid, don't we? Yes, we
love them.
Let's talk about DistroKid very briefly before we get over and hang out with Kim, who's so graciously joined us to walk us through her track today. DistroKid, you can release your music through all of these amazing platforms like Amazon and Apple Music and Deezer and Spotify and so many. It is absolutely ridiculous how many places you can release music through DistroKid. And it is all to you at one simple low price of $22.99 per year. That works out to be $1.92 a month. Not much, not much at all. It's less than 3 coffees, way less than 3 coffees. What am I talking about? If you use the code that is sitting, I think it is over there, see on the other side of the page of my screen there, distrokid.com/VIP/Jade Starr, you will get 7% off your first year. There are 2 other plans you can sign up with DistroKid, and one is the Musicians Plus. The difference is you get a few extra things like synced lyrics, man. This week I tried to sync my lyrics for the new FMC song and my lyrics kept getting rejected. Boo-hoo. Thanks, Apple. But you can sync lyrics and you can sync them with Instagram and you can do all this fancy stuff with DistroKid on this Musicians Plus plan. You get 2 artists, or you can go for the ultimate plan, which works out to be $7.50 a month, and you can have 5 artists and pretend that you're a record label like I do. So that is for $89.99 a month. But remember, if you use my code, you will get 7% off your first year. And we will take a little bit of a deeper dive into the things that DistroKid do a little bit later, because remember, we
love DistroKid. Yeah, baby.
Alrighty. Thank you, Thomas, for putting the link in there. And welcome to you all. I'll say hello to you all a little bit later because that's how we do it here on bring my camera back here. There we go. For these shows, we want to dive straight in and look at the track and get everything going. And then about, half an hour in, we'll say hello to you all. We'll let you all get here and settle in and relax so we can do all of that jazz, yeah? All right. Now, Kim's been on the show before. I've interviewed her on here. She's been on one of my panels. You've seen her around the traps. You've probably heard her music. If you haven't, you're in for a treat. And she's a moderator here on the channel as well. So let me make sure everything's working here at the studio and click her microphone on so she's there. And let's bring in the one and only Kim Hardin-Hudson, yeah. Hello.
Hi. I'm so nervous all of a sudden.
Why? You've done this before.
I know.
You've been here before.
It'll go away. It's just got to get it out.
Is it because we're going to solo your vocals today?
I don't know. I think it's just all of it. And I feel like I'm going to cry after listening to this song. I'm like, every time I listen to it, I almost cry. So I'm like, I'm a mess.
That does it to me all the time. You know, I've covered this song of yours.
Yeah.
And I remember when I did it live, I butchered it the first time live. And I had to go back and do it again because I'm, like always, underprepared. Last minute, learn everything at the last minute. And my motto is, it'll be all right when it happens. Yeah.
That's all right, Jade. I wrote the song and I butchered it about 150 times before I got it right. So you did great.
Well, let's talk about your proliferancy. Is that a word? I don't know. So,
or lack thereof.
You have 3 songs available through distro services, through I'm assuming through DistroKid. Mm-hmm. And they're all killer songs, and and there's an abundance of people throughout our community who release heaps of songs, sometimes 2 in a week. And I have my opinions on that kind of stuff. And then I've seen like you, who's very careful with what you release. You take a lot of time. There's a lot of thought and effort that goes into your songs. And I've even heard on Hippie's show, Hippie's like, Kim, when are you going to do another song? And it's like, no, dude, she'll do one when she does one. Do you feel pressure to release songs and keep up with the Joneses?
No, I did. So for a minute, I think I did kind of feel bad about myself, but um, I got over it. It's like I'm not gonna, if I don't feel inspired to write about something, I'm not going to, like um, I kind of tend to write stuff if I have feelings I need to get out. So I'm not just going to be like, I'm going to write a song just to write a song and I have no idea what it's going to be about, generally I don't. So
Absolutely. I'm with you on that. I write the exact same way. I don't write for anybody. Apart from Russ.
Yeah.
Like Russ is doing this special album, so I'm actually going to write something specifically for that. So there's a reason for that. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I can't write stuff and go, I hope everybody likes this. I just can't. I've been that person, and the disappointment is shattering because you're
Yeah.
writing things for people that you can't control.
Right.
Um,
And also you want to have stuff when you reach a certain point in your life and you look back on things you've accomplished, proud of it. So that's another reason. But I mean, I don't write a ton just anyway. Some people just have tons of ideas just overflowing. And I mean, I've got ideas, don't get me wrong, I've got tons of ideas like in my phone where I keep lyrical ideas, but it takes me a minute to figure out like what goes together, where's a theme, can this be a song? And then also like I like to write things that people can relate to because that's the stuff that I like, that my favorite kind of stuff is words that when I sing other people's words, I really feel it. And so I want to make sure that when I'm writing something that other people can feel it to the best of my ability anyway.
I believe you achieved that. I'm with you 100% with your philosophy. We've chatted in places like Clubhouse, and we know each other. I'm fully in your ballpark there. Songs that they have to hit you. Like I can't write a song, especially for Dread Circus for my band. If I write a Dread Circus song and I feel nothing, that's going in the bin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because your Dread Circus stuff is definitely emotional stuff.
I got to cry from it. If I don't cry, I then nobody else is going to feel it. Like that is a massive glass of water you have. Sorry.
I don't want to get too thirsty. Like the size of my head.
No. I had flashbacks of living in America, how everything is so large. I remember going I remember going to my first gas station in the US and getting a large soda. I'll call it soda. We call it.
Oh,
and
gosh.
I swear
like
to
a
God,
bathtub.
It lasted me 4 hours in the trip. It was so big. Like everyone in the van with me, we were driving to Chicago for a gig, and everybody in the van was so pissed off at me because I was so obsessed by the size, just going, I can't believe how big it is. I just can't believe it.
It's ridiculous.
And they're like, we've landed
ridiculous.
a man on the moon. I'm like, I know we've landed a man on the moon, but look how big this cup is. This is a medium. Like, that's a large.
Crazy. I went to the grocery store today and I was looking at vegetables and they had like onions that were like bigger than softballs. I'm like, why? Why do we need this? Why is this tomato like giant? Anyway, I digress. But
I love it. We've
everything
divulged.
is bigger here for no apparent reason.
I love it. I love huge things, and I cannot lie. All right, let's jump over to this project now. This is a first for me. So normally, we're looking at projects on iOS, but we've got the Mac set up today. So fingers crossed everything works. So we'll jump over. We'll load it up here, and you very graciously sent me your Mac project. And I said during the week to everybody, wait till you see this project, how neat it is. And did I lie, guys? Look at that. Look at it. It's a thing of beauty.
Oh, that's not even the top of it. Yeah, there's more.
Yeah.
Too. You're kind of in the middle there.
It's a thing of beauty. Look at it. It's so neat. It's Did you spend a lot of time tidying that up?
No, I kind of do it as I go. So
Right.
I can, move around quickly because I get frustrated really easily if I can't, and overwhelmed easily. So like if I don't have my like arrangement track set out and I can't tell where I am in the song or where I need to go, I have to like, stop what I'm doing and put that in there, make sure everything is named. Because that's like 30 tracks. I counted them today. It's like 30 tracks. Like I need to know what's going on,
I love that you counted them today just to check. I love that.
I was like, how many tracks do I even have here? I was like, oh, geez.
Even I didn't do
That's a lot
that.
of tracks.
So on first glance, just looking at it, and I didn't even think you had done this because I don't know what I assume. You should never assume anything about the way people do their music. But I just didn't assume you would have broken down your track into kick, snare, toms, and an entire kit. I don't know why I didn't think that, but I think that's awesome. Here we go. There they are. So you've got overheads, you've got a PC comp crunch, rooms. Wow, this is like a real drum kit. This is even more advanced than my drum kit.
Well, so I learned that. Let me just say, I really hope this doesn't end up being an ad for the channel, my favorite channel, the Band Guide, but that's where I learned that. So like that kind of stuff, he gets really detailed and, I just love stuff like that, So
I
I'm
love
like,
Colin. He's the band guy.
Yeah.
I've been working on my impersonation of Colin. I love Colin.
He's great. I mean, he puts stuff together in a way that I can digest and it's not too overwhelming. So he's like, I think that his brain works the same way that I do. So when I found his channel, I was like, that's perfect. So yeah, that's where I learned that. And I just love details like that. So I was like, this is totally up my alley, breaking everything out into.
Now, if I hit A, which I learnt from you,
yeah,
here's all your automation as well. So you've got automation all the way through this. There'd be a lot down here on the vocals. Not a lot.
I automated a ton of stuff.
It's still not a lot.
Yeah. Well, so it's only showing the kind of the last things I automated, but like on that vocal, that comped vocal, like I automated the gain.
Yep.
So like if you, I mean, we can get into this later. I'm just saying, if you wanted to click where it says volume and the automation, like in the track itself where it says volume, if you click on that, you can see all the things that I did automate on each one. But we can get into that later. That's probably details absolutely. We'll get into later.
Let's go back up the top. I'll hit A again and we'll go up here. I'm running two mice. This is so weird. One for my OBS and one for this. This is crazy.
It's gonna get confusing.
All right, let's kick off with this track. I'm going to solo this. This is our first track. This is the classic Suitcase. Let's hit play. Make sure my mouse is... Come on, mouse. Do. It's so weird when my computer's over here, but I've got everything.
That is weird.
I'll go full screen. I think I can take us out of the picture. I'm going to bring in another track. What I love about this, when I first listened to these initial tracks, when you sent it to me, is all of this is just so simple, and there's so much space in here. It's so uncomplicated, but when you hear the song all together, it sounds like there's so much more happening.
Yeah. I was afraid it was too much, honestly.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I mean, when I first got this project, all I did was just listen to I think it was like the first 5 tracks. It's all I listened to over and over again without the drums going, oh my God, this is amazing.
That's so funny you say that, because for so long, that's all it was. Because this is the first project I started in GarageBand. And for a really long time, it was just these 2 tracks and backwards piano and the Arctic Sun track. Antarctic, what's it called? I can't remember what that's called.
I'm purposefully playing it without the backwards piano, just to hear it as it is, because that just changes everything. It's wonderful. Luckily, too, it's such a short song. We'll get away with being able to play it through a few times. It's so interesting because the majority of the song is vocals and drums, and the musicality of the track is just virtually nothing. I love it so much. Let's bring in the reverse. We'll solo that. We'll solo the reverse piano. So tell us, what inspired you to bring this into the song, the reverse piano?
Okay, so the reverse piano was actually the original piano track, but forwards. So when I was, because this is, like I said, this is the first song I ever did. I had no idea how to tackle this. I didn't know how I was going to arrange it. All I knew was that I had a song that I play on the piano by myself, and I got to figure out how I'm going to produce this thing. So I was like, all right, well, let me start with, I'll just, figure out a BPM, and I'm just going to put in some piano stabs, just chord stabs, so I can at least, eventually lay out my drums. And, that's just what I started with. I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. So I started with that. And then I probably muted it, and then was like, and then left it there, and then put in those two things that we just listened to. So this was during, the time that I was on furlough during the pandemic. And so during that time, I was catching up on a lot of classic music. And Russ is going to love this. The Beatles. I was listening to a lot of the Beatles and kind of reading up on how they made, how they made a lot of stuff. And I don't remember specifically what song. Maybe I was listening to like Sgt. Pepper's. I really can't remember. But, just hearing all their backward stuff that they would throw in, I was like, oh my God, it's so cool. And I think that maybe after that or before that, I don't know, I had seen a video, that was recommended to me, like how to reverse tracks,
Yep.
So I was like, hey, I wonder what will happen. Like, let's just, I was just playing around. So I, did the thing where you export the MIDI, import it, and then make it audio, and then reverse it. And I was like, let's just see what it sounds like. And I threw it in there, and it was like that situation you had the other day when you were making the video and that clip fit perfectly. And it was like, it was that. I was like, what? It works.
Yeah.
It was like the most exciting thing. And like that, like when you just put something in and it just works immediately, it just kind of propels you, it's like, oh my God, well, if that was easy, what else is going to be easy? Well, it turns out the rest of it wasn't that easy, but
they are gift moments, aren't they? When those, and they do happen. Like I'm sure other people here who are in the chat, you've experienced those moments where you've tried something, you're not sure if it's all lined up, and then you play it and just go, oh, it's amazing. Don't change a thing. Don't change it, whatever you do. It happens more often than not. So let's jump back over here and let's hear this reverse piano by itself first.
Okay.
And crank it up here.
Yeah, so it wasn't entirely stabs. It was kind of stabs and arpeggios.
No, but what it does, and hearing it like this is really amazing. It almost, by the way it stops and the other piano line, it almost sounds like it's cutting it off and giving it this false chop. It's bloody genius.
Well, we have the Beatles to thank for that.
Yeah, well, there's so many people out there who think they did it in reverse to put hidden messages in there.
I know. Oh God.
Interestingly enough there, Kurt says Kim's reverse piano reminds him of breathing. And that's interesting because when I was learning your song to perform it, that's exactly what I got. That I felt like I was like not so much trying to sing the song, but breathe the song. It's interesting. That's probably... Your song has been one of the hardest songs I've ever had to try and learn because of that. Because it's not, you have to, you can't just sing the song, you have to feel it. It's quite incredible.
Yeah. That's my favorite part. One of my favorite parts.
I'll go back. I accidentally clicked. This is two mice. It sucks. Did I go too far? Let's go here. Now I'm going to bring in this. What's this next instrument? So Arctic Sun. This looks like a keyboard. I'm going to solo this.
Yeah, it's like a synth type of sound I stumbled across, and I was like, I'm going to use that somewhere.
So it's like a kind of bellsy. It's got like a triangle thing in it or something. It's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. I actually had to, I think I cut off like the first part of the note also with the automation because it was kind of a little too attacky.
Yep.
But yeah, it kind of sounds like a piano. So it hits like a piano, but it's kind of got this lo-fi quality to it. And then it has these chimes, which I usually don't like chimes or what's it called? Wind chimes. I usually hate wind chimes, but I liked the ear candy that it put kind of in the background because I felt like, you know, as the song is going on, you need to keep people's attention, you know?
That's what you're talking about like, that attack line there? Is that, so if we listen?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, well, that's after I cut it off. Like if you hit A, you can see probably the automation that I did. I think I might have done actually gain. Yeah. No, I did volume. Yeah, because it was just two and it was just kind of punching you in the face and it with everything else. I was like, I don't really, because I mostly just wanted the bells to ring out, a little bit of the note and then the bells to ring out. So yeah, I kind of took off that initial clunk.
Let me go back here. There we go. There it is. So there is the little automation cutoff. And this is so hard to do. Looking at OBS. There it is.
Yeah.
So it's just that tiny fraction cutoff right there.
Mm-hmm.
Let me zoom this back out. All right, so next track, I'm going to turn off automation. Boom. And we've got bass now, so I'll bring in some bass.
Yeah.
And what's the story with the bass? What did you choose for the bass in here?
So the bass, that's my friend Aaron playing the bass. So Aaron is the same person that is playing on Phone that's doing the organ and that kick drum on my song Phone.
Right.
I had him come over and play this bass line. And then I did destructive editing on it to get the timing just right because everything else is quantized. Not that his there's nothing wrong with his timing. Let me say that. But I wanted to make sure that everything was quantized perfectly. And also just because everything else is quantized perfectly, like
Yeah.
in this song, like I don't necessarily think that everything always needs to be quantized, but it's just kind of like I'd already done that.
You just wanted a human to play it,
So,
and then you wanted to turn him into a
and then
robot.
I wanted to, yeah, exactly. And then, so I also wanted to do the editing to get, a lot of things I do is to train my ear. Some of it might be completely pointless for everybody hearing it, but I do it for myself. So for this, I knew I needed to get better at hearing timing. So yeah, so I did the destructive editing where I cut it and move it instead of using like flex time, so that I can train my ear with like, this is good timing.
Yep.
This is good timing, So like I said, it didn't exactly need it. It's not like if I'd left it, you guys would be like, okay, you're a bass player. Because he's great bass player, great musician. Again, it was mostly just for me.
So let's bring in some drums. I'm going to bring in the overheads next with the bass. Let's hear what's going on. So we've got overheads. Tell us how you did tell us how you created the overhead.
Well, so first I laid out a regular drummer track, the auto drummer.
Yep.
And of course I, chop it up, play with the fills, whatever. And then, turned it into MIDI. And yeah, that's about it. So really, so what I did wrong here is that I brought in, when I did my mix, I brought in my overheads first, and I'm pretty sure I should have brought those in last and brought in my kick first. And that's why my kick and my snare and everything is so quiet. And I didn't figure out that I had done it backwards until like way too late. And I was like, screw it. We're just leaving it. So I ended up like probably turning down my kick in there and my cymbals quite a bit when you look on that. But yeah, I mean, that's more or less just the drummer track itself being copied, and then those knobs down there kind of turning down some things and stuff. And then you take that, I think, if I remember correctly, you take that and then you copy, or you use that as the basis, I think, for the rest of your drum tracks, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me on that.
Let's have a listen. So here we go. Isn't that interesting? I never realized all this time that there were toms in there.
The toms are my favorite part of a drum kit. I had to have toms.
It's so
I love
weird.
toms.
Like when I hear the song, I've never actually noticed it, that they're constantly ticking. That's bizarre. Yeah. I can't believe I've never picked that up before. So we've got a PC comp next. I'm going to bring that in.
Yeah.
Let's see what's going on.
So it's very subtle. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, and for those of you who don't know, what Kim is achieving here is how you would mic up an actual kit in the studio. So she's put this is a compressor track. Yeah, am I right? So it's a compressor track on the entire kit, and the overheads are simulating so rooms that would be sitting, mics that would be sitting above the kit. So it's simulating that. And then we've got a crunch track here. Let me bring this mouse back over. And what's on the crunch track?
So that's an overly distorted. So the other one was over compressed, and this one's over distorted.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think what that's supposed to, I want to, I don't know. I think this is the one that is supposed to kind of emulate the sound of the mics being pushed to their brink.
Yep. So you got saturation on there. So here's the compressed mic with this light saturation on there. So you can hear that
Yeah.
dirt.
And
You can definitely hear
yeah,
that
you
dirt
can hear
in there.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's filthy.
And it's like when I don't know if anybody watching right now can really hear, like when you add them in, if they can really tell a difference. It's subtle, but I could hear it.
Yeah.
So again,
Let-
I
let's-
mostly do stuff.
We'll shut our mouths for a second and I'll click it. I'll bring in the crunch so everyone can hear. Yeah, absolutely. So when you just got that compression on there, it's just really flattened and squashed, and then the crunch is just bringing it to life again. Man, I keep getting this crash. You know what this is from?
Oh, what?
It's from this plugin that you sent me. Whatever that thing is.
Is it the meter?
Yeah, that thing. It's grubby.
You can probably take it off. We don't really need it.
I'll get rid of it after the show. It's all right. I can keep recovering. But once this show's over, Kim, trust me, I'll be deleting it. Ever since I've installed it, I've been getting like that crash. It's a grubby.
Hey, it was free.
Yeah, I know. That's why it's a grubby, free, grubby.
You get what you pay for.
VU meter that keeps. Because I don't think it's M1 compatible too. I think it's a bit dodgy.
Oh.
So next one, we've got kicks. Let's check our kicks here. Bring this back to the start.
Yeah.
We'll play some kicks. So we'll bring in the snare as well. So there you go. Here's our kick and snare. And let's bring in the rooms. Because I've got another room here. We'll bring in the overheads now. Wow. So this is a masterclass, folks, in how to make your GarageBand drums actually sound like a real fucking drum kit.
Yeah.
We'll take out these overheads again. So let's whoa. So you've got another room mic here. So you've got overheads, then you've got a room mic. So what this is simulating, folks, is so in a studio you'll have mics over the kit, you'll have mics on every piece of the kit, and then you'll have a microphone somewhere in the room that is just picking up the ambience of the room. And that is what this one is doing right here, this room mic. This is just the ambience of the room. So it doesn't need to be like loud or anything like that. You want it to be distant to capture that, this is what you do when you don't have like an app that, can recreate a room. So, and if we bring in the overheads now, now we take out these overheads. And I know for a lot of people, they're probably thinking, why so much work just to get the drums?
I know.
Right? I'll show you why.
Yeah.
Let me show you why. You ready? This is why.
My surprise.
That's why. Those drums don't sound like GarageBand drums, and they are just GarageBand drums,
Yep. It's Darcy. Good old Darcy.
Good old Darcy. Doesn't even sound like Darcy. It's unbelievable. And it's a lot of work to do this kind of stuff, but it is absolutely worth your time for drums. Drums, I think, Kim, drums, when I hear people using GarageBand, it's one of the things that upsets me the most. There's some of my favorite artists I know who make music, and I hear their drums and I constantly go, oh, that's that drummer. And I can hear the same drum rolls in a lot of songs, But you don't have to play the drums specifically in yourself. You can do things like this to really make it not sound like the auto drummer. There's so many other tricks you can do like this to really cut through and make drums sound real.
Yeah.
Let's look at the snare for a minute, because you've got your snare, and we'll take out the room mic, and you've got a second track here, the snare verb. Tell us about this.
Yeah. Well, that's just a parallel reverb track for the snare. Just another thing I learned. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. Let's do that. That sounds fun. That sounds fancy and professional. Let's play with that.
There's probably people sitting there thinking, why wouldn't you just put the reverb on the other snare though?
Well, for one, you have more control. So if you don't put your reverb directly on your, let me re-say that. If you do put your reverb directly onto your track, you have less control of your reverb than if you do a parallel track, or if you have the ability to send it, to a bus and do it that way. Then you have more control. And I think what's actually going on that track, if I remember correctly, that the snare verb, I want to say it's the verb inside of the snare itself, that I think that's what I'm emulating there. So not room reverb, but the reverberating inside of the snare itself.
Yep.
I think is what's going on there.
Yeah, look, if GarageBand iOS had sends and buses, man, it would be heaven. Because having your effects, I mean, you can kind of sort of cheat your way around it on GarageBand on iOS, but it's not ideal. It's not like this. I mean, even here on GarageBand on Mac, it's not ideal. Logic has the best way to do busing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I just got that, and so now I'm like, oh my god, I'm so excited to use all those buses, but we won't talk about that.
Bus hell. Let's have a listen
to awesome.
Let's have a listen to the snare reverb.
Okay. It's very quiet.
Again, yeah. But you can hear what you said there. So with a snare has a chain link kind of thing underneath it, and you can snap that down. And this is what you're trying to capture. You're trying to capture the reverb off that rattle.
Yeah.
To give the drum a really nice rattly sound with this. So if we do this,
it gives it space and depth. Yeah.
Yep. So here's the snare in there now with it. And see, without it, it's just really, it cuts off. Then we bring it back in. And it gives it that feeling of, as you said, depth, space. But like it's a big hug.
Yeah.
I'm going to move to toms now.
Okay.
So we got two toms. And you've separated these toms across two tracks. So you've got tom 1 and tom 2. And I'm guessing is this a floor, this second one? Or is it
I'm not really sure. And I don't even know why I put in which MIDI note it is. And I can't remember why I did that. There must be a reason I did that.
I know why. Yeah. So you've got rack toms on tom 1 and you've got floor toms on tom 2.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah. I can tell by the notes.
It's been so long. I can't really remember the reasoning behind some of it, but.
So then if we go right up the top and bring in these overheads now. Let's bring everything in slowly. Some crunch. So one thing I want to bring up that I love what you've done. So people might make this mistake if you're doing overheads, trying to simulate overheads and, you know, do all that kind of thing. People may still put in crash hits as well. You don't need to because the overheads are handling the crashes, and that's what overheads normally do. Yeah. Overheads get that whole overview of the kit, but they're mainly picking up the crashes. Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes, I mean, you can mic up crashes, but then you're going to get a very, very crash heavy drum kit. And because crashes, what you'll find when you're miking up drums is because you've got mics on every other piece of the kit and they're picking up the crashes as well too. So you kind of at an advantage with GarageBand, like doing it this way, because you're not picking up those overhead crashes in the individual mics, which is cool. I love this. Yeah. I never expected this. I really didn't. I'm saying like I didn't expect this amount of detail in the drums. And you know, I'm a part-time drummer, so I love when people focus on drums because I think drums are one of the things that people tend to overlook and just go, that'll do. I hear so many songs where the drums are, they could be so much better. And they're important, folks.
They are important. It's like drums are one of my favorite things too. You know, like Florence and the Machine is not. I don't want to say they're one of my favorites, but I really like them. And one of the things I really love about them is their big drums. You know, or like Björk. You know, love her. Love the Homogenic album from 1997. These big drums. So yeah, I mean, I have to. When I saw that I could do that to my drums, I was like, yes, please, let's make these drums sound awesome.
Good job, Colin. You rock. If you're watching
good
this,
job, Colin.
You are 100% the band guy right now.
He is the band guy.
He is. Let's jump over to some vocals, shall we?
Yeah.
This is going to be my favorite bit, being a vocalist. We'll unsolo all these. Man, I'm going to have to see if I was looking over here at my Mac, everything's so much easier. When I'm looking over here on OBS, the mouse moves really slow. So I don't want to be having my head in the camera here, I'm looking over here. All right, let's solo some vocals and hit play. Now, I've got.
This isn't what I saw. You won't die. Things you thought would is fade. Everything is faded.
Right, I have to stop right there. Now, guys, did you notice? She left her breath in there. Right at the start. You can hear her go, don't chop your breath out. Unless there's something in there that really clashes, let people know you're a fucking human. Let people know you're a fucking human, right? Don't get so tied up on removing your breaths out of there because people won't feel the emotion. So off the bat, I just got to point that out. We'll go back, listen to it again because it's marvelous. I love it.
Everything is faded and frayed. All the things you thought would never break. You won't die if you cry. If you don't, then you might. This isn't what I saw in a dream, so I internalized. But it was never about me. Imagine my surprise.
Wow. Let me bring us back in the picture. Jeebus.
I should have been the river, but I was a stone. All the water rushed around me. I never felt so alone. This isn't what I had in
That part makes me
mind.
emotional.
I wrapped myself inside. I swear you did nothing wrong. I did nothing right.
I'm going to pause it right there. We'll hear the rest in a second. How many takes do you just at a guess to get that one, to get all of that up to there?
Oh God. So, I mean, I seriously,
So you
I mean, I
you
really
comped
think
it, yeah? You comped it.
so. Okay. So yeah. So what you're seeing here is the way that I usually do it is I'll sing it about 4 times all the way through.
Yep.
Like performance style. And then I go through those 4. Sometimes there's a 5th track, but it always sounds just terrible because usually by then I'm just tired. So I go through those 4 tracks and I find the best of the 4. However, to get to those 4 tracks that were good enough to comp, I'm not even kidding. I swear I probably tried to record this song 100 times. Like I'm not even kidding. Like over the course of a year. So I realized that I had written something I did not know how to sing. So because I've always kind of been able to sing in life, but I never realized that I was mostly mimicking what other people were doing, right? So suddenly I've got this song that I've never heard anybody else sing. I've only heard it in my own head. So I had to learn how to sing it, and specifically how to breathe and where all the notes live in my head, and how to go from that kind of loud high to that low and quiet. That was really hard. And that's what I had to learn how to do. And I learned that from Madeline Harvey, her channel. She's awesome. And mixed voice is what it's called. Singing in mixed voice. I guess you probably know that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So learning how to go from your head voice to your, I guess it was kind of my chest voice. It wasn't totally my chest voice, but like I should have shown you. I had written down on a piece of paper, like with the lyrics, and I wrote like, where do I go? Well, what word do I go into my head voice? And so I had to go through that and get the muscle memory of knowing where to go on certain notes and on certain words into my head voice before I could just not have to look at that piece of paper anymore and just sing it. Now I can sing this song way better than this recording. Yeah. Because I know how to do it now. Yeah.
Yep.
But oh my God, like learning it. I mean, seriously, I really think it must have been close to 100 times that I tried and deleted, redo it till I finally figured out, like, I don't know how to sing this and I need to figure out how to sing it.
Yeah.
So I always say this is the song that taught me how to sing. Now that I learned how to do that, I feel like I really have more control over my voice now.
Listen to me. How do I make these wider, each track? I don't even know.
Like, you want to hear the stuff that I cut out?
No, I just want to see how thin these tracks are? I just want to make them wider. I know it's a command something. See when I hit A and go to...
yeah.
So I want the tracks as wide as that so I can see what's going on. Can I do that in GarageBand? Yeah, I've got to be able to. Thomas, how do I do that? It's got to be like a command and up or something like that. I don't even know.
So you want to make it?
Yeah. I want to make each track wider.
I don't think you can. I think really? The only... Well, I know you can do it in Logic. Right. So, if you go and you do the A, it makes it a little bit wider because it shows the automation. You might be able to just pull the bottom of where the track name is. Yeah, you might be able to just pull it down a little bit. I know you can in Logic, but I don't know if you can here. Because it's honestly something I never even tried to do until I realized I could do it in Logic.
Yeah, I know you can do it in Logic. Only Logic. Yeah, that sucks, isn't it? That sucks that you can't
Yeah.
do it in GarageBand.
I mean, you can see it bigger if you click on the scissors up at the top. You can see it bigger at the bottom. If that's what,
Oh yeah,
if
yeah,
that'll help.
yeah.
That'll help.
That's another view. I guess that's another thing. You know, there always seems, isn't it interesting? There's always something with every door that you go, why can't I do that? There's always
Right.
I say it often on this channel. There is no perfect door. If you think there is one, then you're a fool. They've all got
No.
their misgivings. They've all got their like positives, negatives. All right. So anyway, we'll close the scissors. Hear the end of this track here. It's a great vocal performance.
I should have been the river.
Sorry, you ready, guys? Listen to this. This is where you want to get with your singing. You want to be able to convey this kind of emotion.
I should have been the river, but I was a stone. All the water rushed around me. I never felt so alone. This isn't what I had in mind. I wrapped myself inside. I swear you did nothing wrong. I did nothing right.
Fucking hell. Boom. Wicked. Now, now you'll notice, folks, there's no double vocal here.
No, there's
No.
not.
This
There's
is
no way I could have done that twice.
Yeah, like, and this is where bussing and adding your effects on a second track is enough. Like, not every vocal, I know there's a lot of people who double vocal everything because they think that's the way to do it, but it's not. Double vocaling is good in places, but for a performance like this, you know, all you need to do is add a bus or add some effects on this second track. Let's bring in these. Hear how subtle they are.
Everything is faded and frayed.
So that's like a slap back.
All the things you thought would never break.
And then we've got a verb.
You won't die if you cry. If you don't, then you might. This isn't what I saw in a dream, so I internalized. But it was never about me. Imagine my surprise.
I turned down the slap on that word imagine, because it had this awful, I couldn't get rid of this like just awful sound it had, so I had to automate that out. Sometimes slap can bring out some kind of stuff, which I didn't know another better way to deal with, so I just kind of turned it down.
It's incredibly subtle too. Like, you know, you can go over the top with reverbs, and you find when you add more reverb to a song, you got to remember it's like EQ. When you add EQ, you're adding more volume. But when you add more volume of reverb, it actually like squashes the vocal and buries it into the mix, and it gets really muddy. So you really have to be, like most things, careful. And there's just the right amount of reverb in this. Let's go over to the next part.
I should have been the river, but I was a stone. All the water rushed around me. I never felt so alone. This isn't what I had in mind. I wrapped myself inside. I swear you did did nothing right. This isn't what I had in mind. Still, I can try. I swear you did nothing wrong. I did nothing right.
Boom. Wow. We'll have a break for a moment. If you need to go and get a drink or go to the toilet or anything like that, we'll do our DistroKid mid-read and then we'll come back and look more at these vocals. Once we've done that, we'll go back and we'll have a look at what compression and all that stuff in the last hour. And I'll say hello to everybody here. So let's say greetings to you all. I want to thank you all for being here today. There's 27 of you here at the moment. We've got Charlie. Let's bring it back up here to both of us. So we've got Charlie and Gregory and Audible Video and Ed B. Metal, Wolfstone Studio and Sith and Tremor Bear. Guys, if you want to type in the chat and help me so I can find you in the chat, that would be really awesome. Deep Gravity's here. Thomas Christ. Just type anything in the chat. It'll help me. Doorways, what's going on? Gary Hubbs is here as well. Something in the chat. Scott Borthwick. Joe Glenn is here as well. I saw Pete Johns earlier. Who else? Russ is here. I saw Russ. Anyone else I can scroll and find? I know there's lots of people here, but we've been... Lily Pillies. Hi, Manny. Manny's here as well. Gortium 85 is here. Cold Acre. Who else? Who else? As I scroll. Falcro, what's going on? Feisty Feather. Heather. Capsulam. Yeah.
Capsulam. I'm so happy everybody was able to come. Thank you so much. Everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you all for being here. Jenny's here as well. Jenny's here.
Especially the late people and the early people.
Yes,
the Australians and the Europeans. Thank you so much.
We've all made it. So I'll do my DistroKid read, and you can go to the toilet if you need to or anything like that.
Okay.
Alrighty, let me do this. Let me bring up the right screen. Boom! Hello, everybody. I'll mute you too so we can't hear Kim. Folks, today's show is brought to you by DistroKid. I couldn't do the amazing shows like this without the amazing DistroKid. I love DistroKid. And DistroKid, you can sign up to DistroKid for $22.99 a year and release as many songs as you like. It's completely up to you. Singles, albums, whatever you like. Yeah, man. And you've got unlimited. And you can add your lyrics and you get a Spotify verified check mark. And if you use my link, distrokid.com/VIP/Jade, you'll get 7% off your first year. And that goes across all 3 tiers here that you see. And once again, I'm going to show you one of their new features that they have added here. It is an additional cost, but if you are somebody who's struggling with mastering, well, DistroKid has you covered because they have added a new mastering service to DistroKid. And it's really cool. So for $99 additional, you can master your tracks through here. And you'll see this little button. You get a free one to go. So if you've already got a DistroKid account, you should notice there's the opportunity to give this a trial, give it a go, have one free master. And it's super easy to use. You just click on master a track, you upload a song. I'm going to do my Kindercore song, which I've already released, but we're going to do a new mix, a new master today. So I'm going to select this track, introduce it in here. It uploads the file. And it does a bit of analyzation. Yes, not a word, but it is a word for me because I get to make up whatever I want on this channel. So as you can see, it uploads it. It's going to analyze it. And then we're going to be able to do a master and put this out. So if you're all, mastering is a hard thing. A lot of people have fear of it. It's to make it the right level for all the streaming services. With DistroKid has you covered. And this is their Mixer service that is attached to DistroKid. So we'll wait for it to upload. This is what, a 5-minute song, I think. So we're going pretty quick. We got it almost uploaded. And pop. And now what it's doing is generating a master source file. And what it does in this part of the process is it creates various masters for you to choose from. It does several amounts of EQ, plus it also does a level of compression and limiting. So you've got you've got levels of mastering and limiting if you want to make the song a little bit louder. If it depends on how you've mixed it. I think this particular song's mixed minus 6 dB. Analyzation is a word. There you go. I didn't know that, Mars. Thank you so very much. So it prepares a preview for us, and then once we've got it here, you can sample it, choose which one's going to work for you, and then download it and upload it to your straight here within DistroKid. So it's really cool. And look, definitely this is worth it if you are releasing a lot of music throughout the year for $99. It's a pretty good deal. You know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Because to actually pay for mastering is pretty expensive. And you'll see what it does to this track is pretty damn cool. So as I said, I've mixed this at about minus 6 dB. So there's plenty of headroom. All right, so here it is. It's ready to go. Here's the original. That's the original. You can see the shape of it, the definition. Here's a mastered version. So you can see it's already much louder. Let's have a quick play. Now let's hear it mastered. So straight away, there's like heaps of level definition being added to it, and you have 3 styles of intensity. So you've got a low intensity. You can see when we change that, it gets a little bit less. We've got a medium and we've got a high intensity. I wouldn't go for a high intensity because I'm always trying to aim for like 14 kind of luffs or just under 14 luffs. And you have an EQ here. So this EQ will be a little bit warmer. Let's play the warmer version. So you can hear flicking between those two. It's a little bit bass heavier or a little bit higher. We'll go in the middle, shall we? We'll leave it in the middle here, and all you need to do to master this is just hit download mastered track, and we're off. It generates your files. It's super easy to use, and once it's done, you get the option to download in I think it's 4 different formats, or 3. We'll find out. I can't remember. Good stuff. I can see Kim's back, so we'll jump back in soon. And I want to thank DistroKid, for supporting my channel here and allowing me to do these cool things. And they also sponsor one of my interviews a month. They've been with me for a fair while now, and I'm so grateful. They really help the channel, and they help so many of us release music. I've been using them since 2015, I do believe, way before I started this channel. So I'm not saying this just as a shill. I'm telling you this. I've been using DistroKid way before I even thought about using doing this show here on YouTube. Way before. And I was already happy with their service. And, this is just another one of the things that they've added to their service that is cool. So that's done. We can go over to download now, and you've got 3 options. You've got an Ultra HD, which is a 48K 24-bit, 16-bit 44, or a medium quality MP3. I'm just going to take the HD version. You click it, it downloads. That's done. I can jump out of here, jump over to my Files app, into my downloads, and there it is. All done. 61.4 megabytes. I can now select this and move it into something like... in fact, let's just do it this way. I don't do it this way enough. Done. Just drag it over into Audio Share. And now I can go over to Audio Share and check out the difference between this. Here is the original track I uploaded. And here's the master. Boom! Now you can see that's probably a bit too loud for me. I would go back and remaster that and make that a bit lower because it's a little bit too loud. Services would like crush that, but I can go back and do that anytime. So there you go. Let's get back into this. Thank you so much, DistroKid. We love you so much. Where is Kim? There she is.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Hello,
I'm here.
Metalhead Hippies
Hello.
here as well. And hello, I think I saw somebody new in the chat as well. Let's see, did I? Andrix, Lara, hello, welcome. And anybody else who I have missed, sorry for
I see
that.
the chat on my phone,
Can you?
but not on the screen. So I can't see it on the screen.
Yeah, I'm not putting it
Just
up
so everybody knows.
because there's still an issue with chat at the moment for my thing. Anyway, let's come back over here.
Oh, yeah.
And look, that thing has done it again.
Oh, gosh. I'm so sorry.
I want to make sure it is that. Loading play. It is that. It's ever since I loaded that. It's all good. It's all good. I'll just remove it straight after this. I don't care.
I probably could have taken it off, but I didn't know if you would want to talk about the metering. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to. I took off maybe like a track that wasn't used and that's it. And then I just sent it to you and I was like, let's just go for it.
Yeah, I only put, it's weird. I only put it on yesterday. So, all right.
Oh.
So what are all these tracks down here? What are all these? You want to tell us what they are
All
before we
the-
look at them?
Background vocals. Yeah. Just, oh yeah, you want to, yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah, just background vocals, some I don't know, just ideas, mostly things that I hear in my head. Like, when you're working on a song and then you walk away from it for the day and you then get all your ideas because the song is playing in your head and your brain starts filling in the things. So yeah, I would just kind of make notes, or I would make, voice memos of the idea, and then I would go and record it.
I'm going to jump to what this block over here. Let me just take us out, make sure I've got them all. Oh, so there's heaps more. Look at them all. So
Oh my
many
God,
parts.
it's ridiculous.
I'm just going to solo all these so we can hear what they all are, because this is, now I haven't done this, of course. I haven't gone ahead and done this myself, but this is where all this real magical stuff happens, I assume, with all the undercurrent of vocals. Let's hit play and hear what's going on here. Oh dear. What the fuck? What the fuck? This bit here, that is insane. Oh man. What the fuck? Get the fuck out of here.
That's me not knowing when to stop. Like, oh, what if I just add this? What if I do this too?
Now
try
I'm
this.
crying from it.
I
This
wish
is
it had that much of an impact in the context of the mix. I honestly don't think I mixed that part very well, but it's really hard mixing in background vocals, and just honestly, it's all hard. All of it's hard.
No, I think you did a stellar job. It's interesting, that what you want, I think that's amazing, right? And people can make the mistake of going, wow, that bit there's so amazing. We need to push that all the way up to the front. And no. When it's beautifully mixed within the song, so you don't hear that and it doesn't stand out like dog's balls and it steal from the song, that it just becomes a part of the song. That's how you want to mix things. And I know I've been guilty of it myself. Say I've done things like that where I've heard those little vocal bits and gone, oh, man, and then pushed it all the way up. And it's like, it just destroys the song. So you have to be subtle.
Yeah. In fact, speaking of that, I might have left most of those uncompressed because because exactly that. I didn't want to push when you compress everything, or when you compress anything, right? It pushes it forward a little bit.
Yep.
So when you start compressing everything, then everything's forward and you've lost your depth. Again, the word depth. You know, I like space, I like depth, I want it to sound like it's behind you or around, you know, just, you know, create a space. So yeah, I don't think I compressed those. I probably tried it and I was like, nope. Can I show you one thing though
Sure.
that I'm very proud of?
Yeah.
So the one that has the delay on it. Okay, so the one, it's called option 2, playing with.
Option 2, playing with. Yep.
Yeah. So that one, so if you go to that one, I learned how to automate the EQ because there was a sound in my mouth.
Oh God.
It was like a kind of a, you know, whatever, kind of a smacky sound. And I did not notice it until, I want to say it popped out when I started EQing and doing all my high pass filters. Maybe I started hearing this little, and I'm like, oh my God, what is that? What is that? I've got to get rid of it. Well, I'm not about to re-record the vocal, especially that far into the thing. So I was like, I've got to figure out
It's all right.
how to get rid of it. So if you go and you click on the channel EQ down there,
Yep.
we can watch it automate. So see, I cut out my highs to get rid of that click, that smacky sound. And then at the end where I say the words "I've grown," it comes back, or it
I'm on the right
automates
track,
itself
aren't I?
back up.
Option 2. Yep. This is the right one. All right. So if I hit play now, watch this.
Yeah.
I hope you see it.
Am I in the right place? Yeah.
Yeah, it's toward the end if you
All
want to
right.
skip to that last section
That's
of
that
it.
last bit. Yep.
Yeah, that last bit. Yeah.
I hope you see it. I've grown.
See that, guys?
Yeah. So I had to figure that out myself, and I was pretty proud.
Yeah. Automation, huh? It's
I love automation.
It is. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. If only you could do it in GarageBand on iOS. But
Oh, I know.
yeah, you can virtually automate anything though in with this. So
Yep.
all right, let's close this out. And let's hear the rest of these. I'll introduce them as we go by themselves. Let's just hit play and I'll bring them in.
In a dream.
I love that.
It was never a.
I love that. I love that you've just done these small parts in there. Let's bring this one in now. Good, catch it.
Should have been the river.
The silence, the suspense.
I hope you see that I've grown.
I could skip between them, but I like the suspense of hearing them come in. It's doing. And now I'm probably missing some down here, aren't I? Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
I swear you didn't know.
I love that you've chopped off the words in those.
Yeah. So I've noticed.
For
So
impact.
yes, exactly. So I've noticed if you, how do I say this? So if you kind of double up on certain parts and then take it away, you seem to get more attention on the part where it was taken away.
Yep. Yep.
I've noticed anyway.
Should have been the river. you see that I've grown.
Was that reversed?
No,
It sounded
it's
like
just the way I sang it. That's actually my favorite part right there. That's something I heard.
It's panning both sides, yeah?
So they're running through a tremolo. So
Ah.
I put a tremolo pedal on both of those.
I hope you see that I've grown.
Wow.
Yeah, it needed movement. And so I tried just the tremolo plug-in itself. I didn't like that I didn't have a lot of, oh, sorry, shut up.
So you got this space designer in here as well.
Yeah.
This is an absolute masterclass in backing vocals right here, folks. Even I'm learning shit too. I'm learning as well. I'm stealing all your techniques.
Awesome.
Damn. If you're not impressed by this, you must be deaf. Wow.
Nothing right.
All right, now I'm going to be really self-indulgent. We're going to bring in the main vocals and hear this all the way through because it's just so good. It's so good.
Thanks, Jade.
It's true. It's true, Kim. Let's hear this.
Everything is faded and frayed. All the things you thought would never break. You won't die if you cry. If you don't, then you might. This isn't what I saw in a dream, so I internalized. But it was never about me. Imagine my surprise. I should have been the river, but I was a stone. All the water rushed around me. I never felt so alone. I hope you see that I've grown. This isn't what I had in mind. I wrapped myself inside. I swear you did nothing wrong. I did nothing right. This isn't what I had in mind. Still I can try. I swear you did nothing wrong. I did nothing right.
absolute fucking masterclass right there. Right. I'm going to bring in some music to this. Let's play. I'm going to introduce everything just as a whole. Let's do it.
Everything is faded and frayed. All the things you thought would never break. You won't die if you cry. If you don't, then you might. This isn't what I saw in a dream, so I internalized. But it was never about me. Imagine my surprise. I should have been the river, but I was a stone. All the water rushed around me. I never felt so alone. You see that I've grown. This isn't what I had in mind. I wrapped myself inside. I swear you did nothing wrong. I did nothing right. This isn't what I had in mind. Still I can try. I swear you did nothing wrong. I did nothing right.
Boom.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me go back up here. I'm going to unsolo all these. I'll get us off the screen. Man, you know what? One of the hassles I have here, Kim, which sucks, with this new iPad, the way it works, the screen share ability, if I move the mouse off here, it's now over here on my iPad. Like this. Look at this. This is the same mouse that I'm using for the Mac. And when I move it over here, see how it disappears? And now it's over here on the Mac. I really hate that function. I hate it so much. I wish I could get rid of it. But it happens when you share the screen. Absolutely stunning. And it's interesting now that I know where all these vocal parts are at that end bit, where all those harmonies come in, I can hear them now.
Yeah.
Now that you know they're there, you can actually hear them, and it's they stand out more. I'd never really noticed them, and that's the thing. I think why doing shows like this and exposing behind the curtain is important, because you don't know how much is actually going on in a song that you think is quite simple.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, and like you don't realize how many layers there are. Like when I hear people's songs, it's like I don't think of it as being a bunch of layers. It just, because of course, we're just listening. We just think it's one layer, and then it's like, oh my gosh, there's so many things that made up the thing that I thought was one thing.
yeah, and
It's so cool.
like I want to ask with your process too. Were there times with the music, especially, that you were taking things away, or was the music pretty much as is? Like you knew how it was going to Like, did you, I've said this many times on the channel, like for me, I had this, light bulb moment when I was in a studio. I actually paid an engineer to listen to my Dread Circus album that I was still working on now, and he went, this is a great album, but you need to remove half of the shit that's in here. And it's true, like, because a lot of modern pop music, why it's good and why people like it and why it sells is because it's less. There's space in there and it's not cluttered. That's the secret to pop music. When you try and put too much stuff in and show off and go, but I can do all this, you are cutting your own feet off.
Yeah.
So when you were putting this together, did you have to subtract anything from here, or was this spacey from the beginning?
I want to say, I didn't really cut anything out, because I was just kind of building on it, like basically I would try stuff, and then before I would record, and if it didn't work, I'd be like, no, that doesn't work. We're not even going to record that, So, what I do a lot of though, is those background vocals and the doubles. I take away from those a lot, like on the, I can't remember which part. Like I would maybe say, I'm sorry, I can't remember which part, but like the If You Cry part, maybe I cut off the front of that one. I think I did that one. There was another one where I think I cut off the word but and just did the rest of it. So I'll do things like that, like I'll be like, okay, I think like in my head, maybe this whole section needs a vocal double. And then I'm like, nope, only a couple of words do, shrink it down. So I'll do stuff like that mostly, but I don't really take stuff away, like as I'm like instruments away from the arrangement as I'm going, because I don't really start, I don't really have a plan, right? I mean, again, this is my first one. I was just like, okay, let's just kind of start layering stuff until it just sounds good and it feels done. And I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just making a song.
Don't know what you're doing.
I'm just entertaining myself. Like, would I think this is cool if I heard it? Oh yeah, I think that's cool. Or, oh, that's not cool.
Well, I want to talk about this. All right. What we're talking about, you don't know what you're doing. How like, do you, because we talked about this at the start, you take time to put these songs together. And I think that's good. People should take more time to release things. Because you remember, like back before we got to this point with amazing distribution, where we could just put out a song on DistroKid like that, bands release songs every 5 years. This was a thing, right? And I think taking time is important to really make sure something sounds absolutely perfect, because you don't want... I know I'm like this. I don't want somebody to hear my song and go, geez, that sounds a bit, that's not very good. You want it to sound as professional as possible. Do you record parts and take some time away and then listen to it a lot and then come back to it?
Yes.
How much do you obsess over individual parts is what I'm getting at.
I mean, it depends how much it bothers me, really. So yeah, I would record stuff and then I would, maybe go for a walk and listen to it, or, let a couple of days pass, or sometimes even a week pass and listen to it. And if there's something that bothers me that takes my attention away from enjoying the song, then that has to be fixed, Yeah. But usually I'll fix that before I'm actually like, okay, let's export this and listen to it and see how we feel about it, Yeah, because usually it'll just bother me from the beginning if something's bothering me.
Well, I'm just going to say, the way you're doing it absolutely right. Everything you're doing, you are nailing. And I can wait forever for your next song. I don't want to.
You won't wait forever, I promise.
Good. I don't fucking want to. I've had enough, but I'm willing to wait. And hopefully everybody else is, because I was lucky enough. You sent me something a little while ago. I'm very lucky. People send me things to have a listen to. And that thing that you sent me a little while ago was fucking incredible. I bawled my eyes out, and you were like, "Oh, it's just really rough," and I'm like, "Oh man." Is that the thing you're working on at the moment?
So not yet. That's going to be next. So the thing I'm working on now is very different from anything you guys have heard from me before. It's more like the stuff I used to write growing up. Like it's very grungy. It's loud. It's got way too many guitars and not too many, but lots of guitars and distortion, or maybe it's really overdrive. It's probably not really distortion. So that's what I'm working on now. And no quiet singing in that. And it's not a pretty song. It's not pretty vocal. It's not pretty. It's very different.
It's not pretty.
It's not a pretty song.
I've heard a lot of songs in this community. Can I just say, I've heard a lot of songs in this community, and there are some amazing songwriters throughout this entire little YouTuber sphere that we have across all these great channels, and people that play people's music, and channels like this that teach music or try to teach music. The one thing which I get upset about is with this song is this is the one song that I believe should be pushed on the radio, should be picked up by a radio station.
This one?
This one that we're looking at today. Absolutely.
Really?
I'm sure there's people in the chat who agree with me. This song has every piece of ingredient that should be on the fucking radio.
Oh, Jade.
Are you kidding me? Like, it's interesting. Like, I don't know. There's songs that you hear. Like, I just go back to, and I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass because you're here, all right? It's not that.
Yeah.
I believe this for a long time. There's songs that you hear. Back in the day when we used to go and buy vinyl and buy CDs, you would go out and something would hit you in the heart, hit you in the feels so much that you felt an attraction to it, that you felt like it meant something to you, and it meant a point of your life. This is one of those songs, and that's why I was so excited to have you on here to look at this, because it's very rare to be able to pull songs off like this. I've had people tell me that I have a few songs like this as well. And,
yeah, you do.
And you know when you've got one, right? Because it is, again, because we've seen you here today. Folks, not only is this a school in how to record music, this is a schooling in how to, like, be a musician. Because you can see multiple times today listening to this track, Kim wiping her eyes away. If a song can make you fucking cry that you fucking wrote, you're on a wham bam slam. Thank you, ma'am. This song should be on the fucking radio. This is a crime that this song is not like picked up by a fucking label. There you go.
Gee,
I'm just
thank you
saying
so
it.
much.
It is true.
You're so sweet. Thank you.
People agree. People agree in the chat. It just is what it is. Let's have a... Oops, what did I bump then? I bumped something. What have I bumped? I bumped this. Here we go. Let me fix this up. Here we go. Let's have a look at some of the compression here on your...
I love compression.
On your vocals.
Okay.
Let's solo this. Okay. And I'll take us off the screen. We're bringing out a compressor here. Where are we? Now, you've got two compressors on this.
I do.
Why?
Yeah.
Why do you have two compressors on here, Kim? Tell us.
So did I do compressor and then another EQ? The real question is, why did I do a second EQ?
Oh, hang on.
So,
I'm on the wrong track. It's my fault. It's my fault. I'm on the wrong track.
Oh, are you?
Yeah,
Oh,
here we go.
okay.
No, you've only got one. So you've got a compressor.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Here's your compressor.
So this is another thing that I learned. Okay, so these vocals are super dynamic, right? So I mean seriously, like going from a practically a whisper to almost not quite a belt, but almost. And so what I learned to do was, the first thing I did actually was I automated the gain before I even. Because, okay, so I have to turn my mic down super low, right? So that I don't clip on the loud things.
Yep.
And because I don't really like recording in pieces, because that's just kind of I don't know, that's just not how I work, at least for this song, at least for the songs that I have out right now. I don't really record them in pieces. So I have to turn my mic down very low. And then I have to go in and automate the gain up on the quiet parts and then turn it down on the loud parts before I go in and I do 2 compressors. So the first compressor that I'm doing is, let me think. Okay, yeah. That one is the one that just, it's supposed to have a fast attack. So it clamps down on your peaks really quickly.
Yep.
And then the other compressor is just kind of always on. So it's kind of a slower attack, a slow release. So it just kind of, it's just always on, just kind of running a little bit. So
and
it's
here,
not.
you've got a gain. So you've got a gain on here.
Yes.
You've got a de-esser.
Yes.
There's the de-esser. You've got a channel EQ. Look at that EQ. There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Look at that. All those basses, all the low notes are out of there. Nice little subtle points. Nothing up here, nothing crazy, nothing ridiculous. You know. And then here's our compressor. And what do we got? I can't even see past my camera. And what's this one down here? What have we got down here?
So your AU dynamic. So that's another compressor that's
your
inside
second.
GarageBand.
Yep.
Your what do they call it? Dynamic processor. I think?
Dynamic processor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, and that's just kind of to give you a visual. And again, it's just kind of what I was taught. You know, a video that I watched of how to stack compressors, and that this person, again, it's the band guide. But he uses that one because you have a visual on that compressor. The other compressor in GarageBand, you don't have a visual. You're using your ears the whole time, which is actually a really good thing because it's training you. Without a visual, you're training your ears to hear compression. You know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a good thing that it's not there. So for anybody who's like, oh, I hate that, well, just realize that, you know, you're training your ears until you can eventually upgrade maybe to Logic where you actually can see your compressor, you know.
We should be able to see this compressor working, shouldn't we? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So
yes.
let's watch this compressor do its thing.
Everything is faded and frayed. All the things you thought would never.
And we can see your gain automation here.
Yeah, well, that's my volume automation.
Volume automation. So that's on your breath.
You'd have to go.
Yeah,
that was on your breath. Yeah.
Probably it was probably an ugly breath that I.
If you cry, if you don't, then you might. This isn't what I saw in a dream, so I internalized. But it was never about me. Imagine my surprise.
And what's beautiful there is too, you can see with this vocal, when we jump out of here, you can see these parts are much louder. If I scroll back here. So, you know, these bits here are much louder than everything else. Like, look at all that. And it sounds...
You can't even see the other ones.
Yeah. They're practically invisible, but they all sound absolutely the same level.
Faded and frayed.
And this is why compression is really important. And doubling compression...
All the things you thought would never break.
Just going to play this again. So once we get to this loud bit over here, you'll see it's the same level.
Then you might. This isn't what I saw in a dream, so I internalized. But it was never about me. Imagine my surprise.
I'll tell you what, the other thing you've done, which is pretty cool, I have to admit, you have hardly any fucking bleed in your cans. You must be listening to this so low. Like in your...
I don't know.
Every time,
I
like
guess so.
I'm going deaf. My cans are always loud and I can always hear cans in there. Even with a dynamic mic, it's just me, I guess. It's just me.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
It's just me. Let's have a look at these other compressors because we've only got about 13 minutes left.
Oh man, this went so fast.
It always does, doesn't it?
Yes.
And then we're going to send everybody over to Pete. So what have we got on here? Let me oops. Just click that off. So here's our vocal slap. And let's bring up. So you've got a same compressor on here as well.
Yes. Okay. So that's what I did. That's a copy. So I copied what I had done, the stuff we just looked at on the previous track, and then I bring that down to the slap. And then on top of all that, or on bottom really, of that, I add the tape delay to get the slap.
And is it the same with the track underneath, the verb?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's got verb on it. Yeah.
Let's hear these together and watch this compressor in action.
Everything is faded and frayed. All the things you thought would never break. You won't die if you cry. If you don't, then you might. This isn't what I saw in a dream, so I internalized. But it was never about me. Imagine my surprise.
I think, see the discussion in the chat is about compression is a really hard thing to get. And it is. Lots of people talk about compression and the right way to do it and the wrong way to do it. If you are struggling with the right way to do it, just remember, keep it subtle. Yeah. What's your advice for compression, Kim?
I don't know. Just get good at it because it's important. It's very important. I don't know. I don't know that I really have advice. Just find all the information you can on it and just get good at it. And like I said, train your ears to hear compression. But also I've noticed when I'm mixing that compression is the thing that wears out my ears the fastest. Yeah. So train your ears on it, but also take plenty of time away from it. But yeah, it's very important. It's the thing that glues everything together too. I don't know how. It's just magical. But somehow when you add a little bit to at least your main tracks, it somehow just makes them kind of nestle together nicely and just starts to sound really professional. So it's super important. And I love it. And it's magical.
Especially for vocals. Like vocals are really important, and especially on your main track, your main vocal track, because that is the difference between making a vocal cut through the mix or a vocal being buried. I see so many people on Facebook forums saying, I can't get my vocal to cut through. What's the best vocal chain? The most important thing is to, decent takes. Good takes, because you can't fix it in the mix. Don't try and fix it in the mix. Decent takes that sound beautiful without any effects on it by itself, and then compressing it enough so it can stand out above the mix. It's just got to stand out. That's all it's got to do without it being overbearing. The Pepperto album I showed everybody a while ago, a couple of months ago or whatever. I remember when I recorded those vocals, the guy who mixed it put so much compression on those vocals. They were squashed so hard, but it was right for that album. It was absolutely right because it was an acoustic rock album and it needed to sit above all these tons of acoustic guitars. It really needed to sit above, and they just cut through so well. And it was that southern rock, pick the keys up off the bird. So that's where it works, that kind of compression, and it squashed the fuck out of. It didn't need dynamics where your stuff is very dynamic. You've got to compress to the vocal. You don't compress to the concept of compression. You compress to the vocal, whatever the vocal's doing, whatever it needs. If it has lots of ebbs and flows, peaks and low soft bits, you have to compress to that. If you want it to be a solid cut through like a rock song, then you compress it so it all cuts through like a sausage when you're mixing down a song.
Right.
Exactly. Thomas says it depends so much on the track and the vocalist. Yeah. There's so much more we could have gone through with this song.
I just realized that 8 minutes before we're done that I didn't even turn on my freaking light. So
it's all right.
I have a light up here, a ring light up here that I never even turned on. I'm like, why do I look so dark?
We can see you.
Okay. I'm like, oh my God, Kim. Anyway,
Shit
I was
happens.
just like, Jade's camera looks so much better than mine. I wonder why. Oh my God, I didn't turn on my light. I'm a mess. Anyway,
shit happens. It's not hey, who gives a shit?
It's not about me. It's about the song.
Yeah, exactly. We're not here judging your light expertise, are we? No, we're here judging
It's
your
not behind
song.
the lighting.
We're judging your song. That's what we're doing. How do you feel? All right. How do you? This is the thing I want to start introducing to the song. How do you feel now coming on here and being so exposed with your music to people, seeing your process and hearing how? Because it's a very personal thing. Your vocals are a very personal thing. How do you feel after this experience?
I'm fine. I think it's fun.
I'm fine. What's your favorite color? That was for Hippie.
It's actually teal right now.
All right. So Hippie, if you ever have Kim on the show,
Boom.
you're not allowed to ask her what her favorite color is. We know it's teal. All right. Love you, Hippie.
Sometimes it changes though. So
Fine. That's perfect.
for now it's teal.
Now, folks, this song is in the description. All the details to Kim's stuff is down there. I want you to go and subscribe to her channel if you're not already. And if you are subscribed, go and seek out this track and tell her how fucking great she is. Go and leave a comment on this particular track and remind Kim just why this song should be on the fucking radio, because it's sick. It is a wicked song. And I want to thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your skills. I've learned heaps. I have learned heaps from this, and I need to, because I'm going to start a channel called How to Mac on iOS in about a week and a half's time, and I'm scared shitless, and I'm going to need...
I can teach you so much more. Anytime you want me to teach you stuff, we can get on Zoom. I can totally teach you stuff.
Well, that's why I'm doing the channel, so you can hopefully be there live, and you guys can help me through it too, as much as I can help with other things. So it's going to be a collaborative thing. So
yes.
So if you're not aware of that, guys, I have a new channel kicking off called How to Mac on iOS, and it is all about me taking the jump from iOS to Mac and how scary it is. And, you know, I've got this Mac sitting over here and it's just waiting to be played with, and I've got everything sorted. I've got extra hard drives. I've got heaps of software, and it's all ready to go. And I'm going to need your guys' help as much as I reckon I can show you some things as well. I just, the main problem I'm going to have, Kim, is like where everything is. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
But all the other stuff like recording and skills and these kind of things, I've got that.
Yeah, you got that.
Shit. I got that. All right, we're going to get out of here, and I'm going to send you all over to Pete Johns. Pete's got Mike Enjo on the show. He's got his podcast today. So you'll be automatically Jade dumped over there for a Jade raid. And, anything you want to say before we get out of here to folks here, or anything else?
Just, I swear I will have a new song this year. I swear I will. I'm so sorry. I spent 2021 and, what year is this? Oh, no, it was 2022. You know, training my ear and writing. And so I should have at least two, maybe three songs. And some stuff that I'm working on with other people. That's all I'll say about that, and mixing for people and stuff. So hopefully I'll have some stuff this year. So thank you guys for coming and for, sticking with me, even though I haven't put anything out for a while. You're all awesome. I love you so much. Thank you so much.
You rock, Kim. And what I'm going to try and do here is jump over to... see if I can find this to go out with. Let's be a little bit self-indulgent here, if I can. Opening hour. I guess I can't even do a search here. Jade, Starr, best of the opening hour. Yes, I found it. I think I have found it. Let's go with this. All right. We're going to get out of here, guys. Remember, do the things that make you happy. Mistakes make you better. And as always, we'll all rise together. Pete's up next. Hopefully you guys can come and join me on the weekend because I haven't been well, as many people will know. And for my opening hour, I'm going to let my hair down and scream the fuck. And I'm going to do an hour of my original death metal songs. And trust me, you're not going to want to miss it. I have a costume that will freak you all the fuck out. All right, let's go with this.
So there.
It's terrible. It's my horrible version of Kim's song.
Not terrible.
Let's do this. This is me.
It is not.
This is me attempting to sing this song that we've been listening to. So let's go with me butchering this.
Jade.
All right. We'll see you later, guys. Boom.
Bye. Love you all. Thank
Love you. Bye. Everything is faded and frayed. All the things you thought would never break. You won't die if you cry. If you don't, then you might. This isn't what I saw in a dream, so I internalized. But it was never about me. Imagine my surprise. And I should have been a river, but I was a stone. All the water rushed around me, never felt so alone. I hope you see that I am what I had in mind, so wrapped up inside. I swear you did nothing wrong. I did